You're listening to an Ono Media podcast.
Good morning, and thanks for joining me for Rise in Crime, your morning caffeine hit all about crime. I'm Mama Jules, and happy Thanksgiving here in America. And for those outside of America, why don't you use America's holiday as an excuse to maybe eat some pie or give thanks for your abundance? And if you like, you could watch some American football. Today's episode is going to be a listener suggestion episode. You guys have sent in some great stories, so let's get into them. First, a big thanks to Chelsea for sending me this story out of Sayre, Pennsylvania. I hope I'm saying Sayre right. Now, reading through this story published by mytwintears.com had my mind blown because the Bradford County District Attorney's Office has charged one man. This is just one man with more than 500 sexually related crimes. Okay, let's break down those numbers. We have 45-year-old Sean Hall of Sayre. He's being charged last week with 69 counts of rape, 47 counts of deviant sexual intercourse, 198 counts of indecent assault, 127 counts of aggravated indecent assault, 18 counts of sexual extortion, 10 counts of strangulation, and 6 counts of unauthorized administration of an intoxicant. Okay, all of that for a grand total of 531 charges. So how did the police even find this guy? Well, back in April, a search warrant was served on Sean Hall's home. Specifically, the warrant centered around drugs, not sexual crimes. But oh, did they find more than they bargained for. During the search, police officers said they found evidence of drugs, like materials used to make meth, but they also recovered Sean's cell phone and a whole collection of digital storage devices. They grabbed external hard drives and dozens of micro SD cards. And before you ask, was that stuff included in the warrant? Yes, it was. Because remember, police can only seize items related to the purpose of the warrant. And in this case, they had probable cause to believe Sean was making and selling meth. So electronic devices were listed in the warrant to find evidence of dealing drugs. When they audited the SD cards and the external hard drives, they found evidence of Sean engaging in non-consensual sex with a female. As soon as they saw the first video, they shut it all down and they went back to the judge. They let the judge know, hey, we think there's more going on here. And the judge granted an additional warrant to search for sexual crimes. When the audit picked back up again, they found that Sean had dozens of folders organized by victims' names with hundreds of videos of him having non-consensual sex with at least 17 women. Evidence of sexual crimes was discovered on all of the SD cards and also on his phone. The videos also had consistency. It appeared that the victims of his sexual crimes were under the influence of some behavior-modifying substance. This got investigators digging further, and they discovered that Sean possibly used Ambien to drug the women. Okay, I feel like at this point, everyone knows what Ambien is, but just in case you don't, it's a widely prescribed sleeping medication. Sean would allegedly con the women by telling them that he had crushed up medication like Percocet or another prescription pain reliever, and then he would put the crushed up Ambien in their drinks. It wasn't a pain reliever, it's actually a sedative. Well, the arrest affidavit claims that the video evidence showed Sean using fabrics and chains to bind the women. He even took his own Hollywood liberties, and he recorded various acts from different angles. Now, during the assaults, he would allegedly repeatedly threaten the women. Authorities claimed he also confiscated the victims' phones. So how did he even get these women to his house? Well, that affidavit says authorities found 2 Facebook accounts on Sean's phone. And inside those accounts, they found messages luring the women to his home. And is this guy ever tenacious? Remember, the affidavit says that at least 17 women were in the video evidence. But Sean had allegedly contacted more than 500 women over a 10-month span, and that was just on one of those Facebook accounts. The other account had Sean contacting over 400 women. The affidavit said Sean would use the prospect of a place to stay or a gift of money or even clothes, or even boldly offering drugs to lure those women to his home. Sean allegedly would even claim he was a super chill and innocent dude and that he was just there to give these women a shoulder to cry on. The forensic audit also revealed that Sean would allegedly pay for sex, but once the sex worker was in his home, he would turn the business encounter into rape, using the threat of not paying them for their services to get the women to comply. Now, Sean apparently also had dozens of fake phone numbers that would reroute to his regular phone. Police say he needed these fake numbers to continue to harass the women he had victimized. And many of those women, well, they had already blocked his original number, so he would then start contacting them from the fake numbers to continue the mental torture. All right, it was less than a week ago that Sean was arrested for the over 500 counts. He was denied bail due to the severity of his charges. He has a preliminary hearing next week. And remember how that initial home raid was supposed to be about drugs? Well, Sean is in trouble there too. He's facing 66 felony drug charges due to the first warrant. Now, I'm not really sure what I'm going to keep you up to date on here. The only thing that I think would really freak us out is if he gets out of these charges. I'll just kind of keep watching to see what happens with Sean Hall. And now, this case suggestion offered by Janelle. A week and a half ago, deputies in Lea County, that's in New Mexico, well, they made a horrific discovery in the small town of Jal. Okay, Jal's about 2,000 people, and it's located near the border of New Mexico and Texas. Well, a concerned citizen had called the authorities saying he or she had stumbled upon some evidence of what they thought was a crime. Law enforcement said a man named Cecil Villanueva had caught a ride with this concerned citizen. And during the ride, he had given some weird statements, and then he apparently disposed of some possible human remains outside of the vehicle. Well, when deputies arrived at the spot where the car had been when the possible human remains were discarded, they discovered what they thought was human bone fragments. Okay, they're thoroughly alarmed at this point. So they went to Cecil's house, or at least the place where Cecil seemed to be staying. And there the police found more bone fragments. And these remains included a skull and also a jawbone. All of that led to the police getting a warrant. And on the second visit to the place where Cecil was staying, pieces of 10 to 20 skulls were discovered. Those remains were transferred to the medical examiner's office in Albuquerque for analysis and hopefully at that point, potential identification. Now, all of this is suspect enough, but New Mexico has a missing persons case that residents are automatically trying to link to the discovery of these skulls. But law enforcement is saying not so fast. 43-year-old Angela McMains was last seen in May of 2019. And before she disappeared, she was living right near Cecil's house, or at least the place where Cecil was staying. Law enforcement says the skulls, or portions of the skulls, have nothing to do with Angela. In fact, law enforcement is now saying, this according to NBC News, that the skulls were not obtained by criminal act. The medical examiner has determined, and it doesn't really say how, that the remains found on the property have no legal or medical significance. The medical examiner believes the skulls were purchased online and that they're nothing more than ornamental pieces. Okay, those must be some seriously refined knockoffs. So Cecil isn't in trouble, at least with the law. I'm not sure Cecil's life's in order, but he's not in trouble with the law at this point. So that left me trying to figure out Angela. Well, first off, she is a tiny woman, only 4 feet 11 inches tall. And when she was last seen, she was thought to weigh about 90 pounds. No one reported her missing for about a month, since she would leave for 1 to 2 weeks at a time with regularity. Her sister was caring for Angela's kids, and when about 2 weeks had stretched into a month, she called authorities. Her sister also became especially concerned when Angela's children had visited their mother's home, and it became apparent to them that she had not been there for a while. They also were alarmed that her cell phone, her only bra she owned, her glasses, and her money were left at the residence. And one of the reasons that Angela's sister had Angela's kids was because her health wasn't good. And that was just one more item that really alarmed her children. Angela's medications were also abandoned at her home. All right, let's talk about Angela. She has some very distinct tattoos. The word sexy in pink and black ink is written in cursive on the back of her neck. And the cartoon character Tinkerbell is inked onto her left breast. Her nickname, Angel, well, it's tattooed on her right breast, and a red-eyed tree frog is on the back of her left calf. So anyone with information about Angela can call Crime Stoppers at 575-393-8005. Now, she does have a missing page on Facebook. However, the last post appears to have happened in May of 2021. Her sister, Chris Kelton, she's the one who was caring for Angela's 3 kids. She does have an active Facebook page, and she makes posts about Angela regularly. If anyone would like to reach out or to dive more into this case, it's pretty easy to find. Chris is spelled Kris. And now to a recommendation from Abby that shared a viral Instagram post about a young child who was potentially bullied and hung in the school bathroom. Okay, first, what is actually viral these days? I mean, that term can mean just about anything. Well, this mother's post now has nearly 900,000 likes and almost 33,000 comments. So here's how the whole thing played out and why the mother is speaking out on Instagram. 2 weeks ago, a 7-year-old boy was found hanging in a Charles County public school bathroom after the small boy was attached by his hoodie to the hook on the bathroom door on the inside of the stall. Okay, you all know what I'm referencing here, right? That hook that I hang my purse on, or the hook these kids might hang their backpack on when they're using the bathroom. Now, Charles County is in Maryland, and whatever occurred with the small boy, he was hospitalized with bruising and swelling. The post that went viral said the following: "My child, who is a 2nd grader, was hung in the boys' bathroom by a 4th grader." Okay, and then it went on a little bit later to say, "I received the most traumatizing phone call from the school stating that my child was being rushed to the Children's Hospital in NW. I'm feeling anger and seeing red, but my son is here by the grace of God, and I will forever be thankful." Okay, first off, let's be so thankful this boy is okay, at least physically. The hospital paperwork provided by the mother to media outlets says the boy suffered neck contusions and blunt trauma. All right, secondly, what's the story? Because it seems to be varying depending on the day. The mother told a local news station, and you can also find this report on her Instagram page, that the boy rode in the ambulance to the hospital with the principal. And during that ride, the principal was talking on the phone with the mother. The mother claims the principal did not believe this was just kids playing around, that something more sinister was at play here. But now the superintendent of the school district is calling the incident horseplay. Now, in a statement by the superintendent, she says she is aware of the incident and that she is working privately with the family to provide academic and social and emotional support to the student. She said additional support is being provided to the students and staff at the elementary school. And then she said this: "As of today, we have gathered additional statements from staff and students and completed a thorough review of school camera footage. Based on our investigation so far, we have no reason to believe this was race-related or there was any intent for anyone to be hurt. However, disciplinary consequences following the CCPS Code of Student Conduct are being imposed due to the serious nature of this incident." She then highlighted that the students' names will be confidential. Then she wrote this: This morning, Barnhart administrators reviewed with school staff the protocols in place for student restroom use. This includes ensuring students are traveling to bathrooms in pairs and reminding staff of existing protocols related to hallway and bathroom monitoring. Right. She then went on to warn parents of the viral sensation, and she basically said, don't fan the flames of speculation here. She then commits to holding a community meeting with parents in the near future. Okay, you guys should be so glad I didn't read that whole statement verbatim and instead summarized and shared the relevant information. It was lengthy. Now, before the superintendent issued the statement, the principal, Carrie Burke, issued her own letter to parents explaining that 2 students were playing in the bathroom and that when the one student got caught on the hook, the other student left to get help. She said when the administration arrived, they removed the boy from the hook and they called 911 as a precaution. But that's not what the students' parents are saying they were told. They said the principal said their son was found hanging on the hook and that he was foaming at the mouth and was unresponsive. Okay, that doesn't sound like something you would call 911 for, to just be cautious. So at this point, who knows what the truth is? But reporting leads you to believe the sides are now disagreeing on what happened. The mother has said that her son is not willing to share details and that when she presses him about the matter, he will burst into tears. Now, as a point of context, the mother of the child has openly said she does not want a GoFundMe established in her name. She said that isn't what this is about. It's not important. She wants instead to get to the bottom of the issue so that no other child will suffer the way her son has suffered. She also told a local news reporter that her son will not be returning to the school system. I'm going to keep watching this one. And whenever I discuss the options of homeschooling versus public schools versus charter schools, I always settle on this. The most important choice in your child's life is to have a robust line of communication between you and the child. Foul play can occur anywhere. Being able to speak to your children openly is the best defense against harm and secrets. And sometimes even that doesn't stop it. But we have to do our best to create a place for these young ones to speak up about anything that is happening in their lives, the good, the bad, and the mundane. And the reality is that most of it will be mundane. Peyton, from Murder with My Husband, that's my daughter, well, she said to me once, "Were you so bored as a mom when Marley and I would show you another dance that we had made up?" And I said to her honestly, this was just a couple years ago, I said honestly, yeah, actually I was bored sometimes. And she said, "You acted like you were so interested." And I said, that was my job as a mother. Even if it was the 10th time that you had called me to the basement in the day to watch another portion of the dance that you guys had made up, my job was to watch intently. Okay, you guys, I didn't do anything right sometimes, and I absolutely didn't do everything right, not even close. But I did know this. We can always listen and watch and communicate more intently. Even with adult kids, I can do that. All right, I'm getting off my mom's soapbox. That's your Thanksgiving gift from me. It's Mama Jules here. And I'm just trying to share things that I learned as a parent because I definitely didn't do everything right. And we need to take care of these kids better. And you guys, I'm not sure what will come of this case, but I will keep watching it for you. Make sure you check out the social media post if you want to follow along on this woman's Instagram page. I'll make sure that we put that up in the post. And lastly today, a quick update to a celebrity case. Last week, a Dublin jury found Conor McGregor guilty in the civil trial that found McGregor accused of sexually assaulting a woman in a Dublin hotel room back in December of 2018. Okay, I know I said this is a celebrity case, and maybe some of you don't know who Conor McGregor is. He's the MMA fighter, super buff, Irish dude. Well, McGregor has been ordered to pay 35-year-old Nikita Hand $257,000. Her lawyers accused the 36-year-old MMA fighter of brutally raping and battering Nikita after she invited him and his friend to join her at a holiday work party. That friend, James Lawrence, well, he was on trial also, but the jury did not find him guilty like they found McGregor. Now, I want to be clear about the civil case here. The Director of Public Prosecutions chose not to file a criminal case against McGregor and Lawrence, citing that there was no reasonable prospect of a conviction. He just didn't have enough evidence. So Nikita filed the civil suit instead. Now McGregor doesn't deny that the two had sex that night in 2018. He says it was consensual and that Nikita's accusations against him are just pure fantasy. That night was drug and alcohol fueled. Both parties agree to that. But when the three went to the bedroom in the penthouse, the stories diverge, and Nikita says it was assault, and McGregor said it was two consenting adults. Well, following the civil trial, McGregor went to the platform X, writing the following: "The judge's instruction and the modest award given was for assault, not for aggravated or exemplary damages. I am disappointed that the jury did not hear all the evidence that the Director of Public Prosecutions reviewed. I'm with my family now, focused on my future." McGregor's family did show support during the trial. His partner, Dee Devlin, and his mother, Margaret, well, they were there every day. His sister and boxing coach were also in attendance. Now, I would guess that one of the reasons Nikita was able to win this case is because a 45-minute taped conversation was played in court that had a deeply distressed Nikita telling her boyfriend about the alleged rape. The conversation referred to the alleged attack and how McGregor placed Nikita in a chokehold and placed all of his body weight on top of her while they were on the bed together. I'm going to say that would be a very compelling conversation to listen to. However, in a criminal trial, it would not be enough to get a guilty verdict. Nikita's legal representative fears that Nikita will now be a marked woman and that her remaining life will be filled with difficulty because she spoke up about the abuse. Well, that's your Thanksgiving episode of Rise in Crime. Thanks for joining me here on Rise in Crime. Got my furry co-host with me again today. I do believe I have the best listeners. I'm so grateful for you guys. And on this day of gratitude, I'm just going to say thank you. A big thank you for everything that has been this podcast for the last year and a half or so. It's been fabulous, and I truly appreciate it. You can join me again on Monday. Remember, I have pre-recorded Monday's episode because I was traveling for the Thanksgiving holiday. And on Monday, I will be bringing you that Indigenous case. It's super interesting. And also a cold case that has had some resolution over the past couple of months. And you can join me on Monday for those two episodes and for more morning crime news. I'm Mama Jules, and keep safe out there.